Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, A Little Geek, A Little Chic. Today we are going to discuss the books that I acquired in the month of February. So grab yourself, your beverage of choice, and let's talk books. So in the month of February, I acquired 4 digital books that were on sale on Kobo because the $2.99 books, you know they get me. And let's see, 4, I had to find out where they were, physical copies of books. So we're going to get into it starting with the digital books, and I will post a picture of the cover on the screen for you guys as I discuss them. First one that I acquired was from my most anticipated reads, book releases of 2021, and that is Siri, Who Am I? This book follows a social media type of an influencer or something along that nature, and she has had something happen and she doesn't remember anything about herself, so she's going to use her social media platforms to determine who she is or what she was before said incident where she lost all of her memories. Now, on that note, I have seen, I'm glad I got it on sale on Kobo because I have seen some less than great reviews for said book. I thought it would be fantastic, but apparently you have to go into it and sort of extend your beliefs a little bit and go into it just free brain, completely unobstructed, take what you get kind of ride with this book. So knowing that, I will definitely approach this book in that regard of a little bit of unrealistic kind of story. So still excited to read it, but maybe a little less so now that I have to kind of extend my disbelief system on social media a little bit to get through it. But hopefully, all in all, it's still a good read and a fun one, and I'll enjoy it. The second book that I got was The Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow. Now, this sounds really nice. It is a Reese Witherspoon YA, and I guess our main character, from what I know, has some issues or difficulties and really isn't sure about anything right now, so her family sends her to stay with family or visit family in London, I believe it is. And that is about all I know, but it is a YA romance, so you know that there is going to be a love interest and romance is going to ensue. I don't want to know too much going into this one because it kind of gives me vibes from some other YA romances that I have read and have heard of, both like Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, that kind of series, and also the kind of the Anna and the French Kiss kind of the situation. So I'm hoping it's different or not mirrored. I have heard that it could be similar to these, but I'm still down for it. I tend to really like Reese Witherspoon's books and her selection, so I have no doubt that her YA selections are going to be just as good and just as entertaining. Next is a book that has been on my wish list. I call it a backlist wish list. And that's because they are books that I want to get, but they're not really top of my priority list, but they are backlist titles that I do want to read. And one of them is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This book, when it came out, was super anticipated in the book community, but as it had been released for a little while, it started to get a little bit mixed reviews and not as loved as some of the other books they have put out. But in my attempt to get through all of the backlist titles of some specific authors in the next year or two, this one is one I had to pick up in order to read. And The Honey Don't List, basically, if you're not familiar with this Christina Lauren title, it's about a couple, like a TV power couple. Basically, they reno homes and flip homes, like a Chip and Joanna Gaines. Is it Chip and Joanna Gaines? I think that's their names. In reality, like that kind of a couple. But this couple, unlike the other couple that we are familiar with from television, does not get along. And in order to promote the sale of this book that they have and their show, they need to act like everything is perfect in love and cue the story. So the two handlers, in our main power couple. The husband has one handler and the wife has another handler or administrator who come with them on this traveling book sale, signing, discussion, talk, road trip, and try to basically keep them from completely ruining the fallacy that they have the perfect relationship. And within that, I believe a love romance kind of thing ensues, but not between the main power couple. I think it ensues between the administrators that follow them. So that's interesting, an interesting prerogative. I know a lot of people going in were hoping it was more about the power couple, but it turned out to be about two different characters primarily, I guess. But we will see. I will read it and I will let you guys know what I think. The fourth book I picked up is from the Kobo library as well. It was on sale, and it is from the backlist titles that I wish to read as well, and another author who I am trying to get through all of the backlist titles for, and that is Taylor Jenkins Reid and her book Forever Interrupted. This book follows our two main characters, Ben Ross and Elsie Porter, and I don't know too much about it, but the Goodreads synopsis tells you right at the beginning of the book these two fall madly in love and whirlwind romance ensues, and they elope and get married within a very, very short amount of time, so much so that she hasn't even met his family. So once they are eloped and married and in love, Ben, the main character, is killed in a tragic accident, and we learn that apparently right at the beginning of the book, and then the story shifts and the main characters are now Elsie and Susan, Ben's mother. So Elsie has to deal with the loss of her husband and this love that she had that was instant and whirlwind, and now she has to also get to know Susan, who has no idea very much about her, and they have to try to help each other deal with their grief. And it sounds like a very interesting premise for a story, and Taylor Jenkins Reid writes phenomenal books, so I have no doubt that I am going to love it. Now, on to the physical books that I got. I acquired 4 books in the month of February. Some from my most anticipated books of 2021. One of them is a most anticipated, but it was not in my most anticipated reads or books to pick up in 2021 because I actually didn't know it existed until just after that, and I heard about it and it sparked mad interest from me, and it instantly went on the list. So sorry it wasn't in the video for you guys, but you'll see it now. So the first book I got that you guys saw in the previous video, if you've watched it, I'll link it at the end of the video in the end credits for you guys to click on if you want to watch it, and that is Game Changer by Neal Shusterman. This book it sounds super different. I have never heard of anything like this. Neal Shusterman has, as you know, is written right back there behind me, the Scythe series, and I feel like this is just gonna take you for a ride and address topics in our society that perhaps are more of a topic now, but were skirted over for so long, and that is like the concussion culture and in sport and how it's dealt with. So it focuses on our main character who takes a nasty hit in a football game, and as he's unconscious or suffering from the hit, his subconscious is going through multiple realities or alternate realities, alternate dimension type things. Through his brain is going through all these different scenarios. So sounds very interesting. Don't want to know too much more about it than that, because it's going to be definitely a different read, and I'm there for it to sort of like open up my brain a little. So don't want to get too many spoilers on this one. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great read, and it is definitely off my most anticipated list, so I'm glad, very happy that I have that. The next one that was on the most anticipated list that you guys didn't see because I put it on after the video is The X Talk. So The X Talk is about 2 people who work in radio or podcast industry, and the producers of the station decide that they are going to put on a show about romance advice, etc., for callers to call in, and kind of like a Dr. Crane, Niles and Phil Crane, is it? Niles and I can't remember the other guy's first name, but yeah, the situation is kind of like that. If you were around then and you saw the Frasier sitcom, you'll know who I'm talking about. But this focuses on two people that they've gotten to put together in a room who are both announcers of different shows, and to my knowledge, they hate each other and they've never had a romantic relationship. However, they are supposed to act like they are dating or have been in a relationship together and give advice based on said false relationship. So I assume it's a haters hate to love romance, and I'm getting sort of like Hating Game vibes, but maybe not as. Hating Game was a great book, you guys. So it's hard to compare anything to that, and it's hard to put anything on that pedestal with the Hating Game, but I'm hoping that I really like this one, and I'm very interested to check this one out. Whilst I was out in my travels this month of February, I came across a sale section, like I always do, at one of our local booksellers, McNally Robinson. This bookseller has a section of clearance books, and sometimes you find a gem, and I did. A lot of times I find gems in there, you guys, but this one I found it was on sale. I think it was like $7, and I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I really was excited to find it and add it to my spooky reads collection for the fall, and that is Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. And the premise of this is an island where girls are kept, I believe, and they have some kind of serious issues, and they're being tortured, and something is ensuing. Like I said, I don't want to know too much because it's like a thriller horror kind of mystery, but it sounds very intriguing, and it's gotten great reviews from people like Kayla, I believe, from Books and Lala really liked it. And so we sometimes cross in our ideas of what's good. So I'm very intrigued to pick this up and see if it's as good as, if I like as much as she does, because some of our thriller tastes do mesh. So I picked this one up. And I hope to really enjoy it and get to it during the fall spooky season. And the final book that I picked up is something for me. And of course, all these books are for me, but I mean for me. I know that 2020 and 2021, the beginning of it, has not been the easiest mentally for a lot of us. And me personally, I suffer with some kinds of anxiety and some negative self-talk issues, which I know are a problem and I know I need to work on. So this book spoke to me and it piqued my interest. And so I picked it up. It is a brand new debut book, and I got my copy off Amazon. I'm not sure where else you can get it, but I'm sure you can order it from other places. And it is Kristen Helmstetter, and it's Coffee Self-Talk. And it says 5 minutes a day to start living your magical life. And so positive self-talk is something that's important, and I really need to get better at it. So I picked up this book, and I'm going to read through it. It's not going to be a fast read. I'm going to read a little bit at a time. I'm going to flag parts that are important, and I'm probably going to highlight and go back to it. So it's more of a research tool and an internalization tool for myself. Plus, it says coffee self-talk. So, right? Perfect for me. This is the perfect self-help book as it speaks to me and my coffee. So, pick this one up. I'm not expecting anything super life-changing from it, but if I can take a couple things here and there away from this book that helped me personally, it was well worth the, I think, $15 that I spent on it. So that is it for the books that I acquired in the month of February. What books did you acquire in the month of February? Post them down below. Any good library books, anything that you got out that you thought was fantastic and that you want to tell me about, I appreciate. And let me know down in the comments below if you suffer from any kinds of negative self-talk that you want to get better at, because we can help each other out. So, like I've said before, thank you so much for all of your likes, your subscribes, and your comments, and I will see you very soon with another video.